Okay, this is Psych 3280, Neural Base of Consciousness, week 10. This week, I will be talking about integrated information theory of consciousness. To just start with a recap of the week 9, we first talked about the demonstration of attention without consciousness. And first started with the example in blind side and then healthy subjects and its neural correlates using fMRI. And then we also reviewed the evidence to argue for conscious experience without attention. And for that, we went into the details of the particular dual task paradigm. And then in the end, what we discussed was that the dissociation of consciousness and attention requires the revision of the idea about consciousness and attention. Most sort of the simplest kind of idea would be to assume that the level of neural activation is somehow related to both consciousness and attention. So some kind of idea would be like the bigger activation, stronger the activation of the brain or some kind of neurons becomes, then you become conscious, and the attention is just one way to make this activation stronger. And if that is the case, then it's a bit difficult to explain various phenomena related to consciousness and attention. And then we ended up in a consideration of maybe we just need to search for alternative explanations about consciousness. And then one potential idea would be to consider population of the neurons that are connected within the brain, and then the patterns of the neural activity or its connectivity relates to a particular type of consciousness. And we are going to talk about one of the theories along this line this week and next week. So learning objectives for week 10 is first to discuss why do we need to have a theory of consciousness. And then as a theory of consciousness, I'm going to talk about the IIT, Integrated Information Theory of Consciousness, and then first discuss about what is this IIT in the first place. And then to move on to what does IIT identify as the essential properties of consciousness. So this theory is a bit special compared to other theories of consciousness by first starting from essential properties of consciousness. And I'm going to explain what it means. And then we move on to the question of what can IIT explain and predict about consciousness. And then what is a critical experiment that tested some of the IIT predictions already. And then based on that, we are going to finally discuss how can we possibly construct a consciousness meter. And then as an optional reading, I recommend a very easy kind of reading that I wrote a couple of years ago. Basically, this is written for the philosophers. So if you don't have any mathematics background and still try to read integrated information theory, original papers, it's almost impossible to understand. But my paper is written for the philosophers without much background from mathematics. So it's something that you can read and understand without such background. Okay. So